Well, today's interview is with a man who's in his third season as the head football coach at Southern Miss. He's the pride of Amory, Mississippi. So with all that said, I'm bringing you the one and only Will Hall. And Coach, how are you doing today, man?
Man, I'm doing great, Marshawn. Awesome to be back on with you. And, it's a little day off for our players. We just broke fall camp yesterday, and school starts tomorrow. So it's kind of a fun time of the year where we transition over to starting to get ready to play somebody else besides ourselves. And always an exciting time. I always look forward to it. It's probably been the most fun fall camp of my coaching career. I've been doing this this is my 20th year. And this group of kids, man, the way they interact with each other, the way they compete, but understand that competition's about growth and improving each other, and just the overall dynamic of our culture and everything. It's just been a whole lot of fun.
Oh, from top to bottom, the culture's outstanding, and everybody notices that. So great job. So, Coach, real quick, I'm going to cut to the chase. We're the exclusive on anyone, anywhere, anytime, Coach Hall. Who is the starting quarterback?
Well, man, you're about 24 to 48 hours too early for me. You know what I mean? If we were doing this about 2 days later, I would tell you, but we're evaluating everything. Coach Joseph, Coach Greg, and myself are the three people that are involved, in this decision. And we're evaluating everything from overall growth from spring practice to now, to who from an assignment standpoint is the best, who from an execution standpoint is the best. Because it's one thing to know what to do, it's another to be able to do it. So we want the one that knows what to do the best, but can also execute it the best. And I tell you what, we really like both of them. This is not a deal where whoever becomes our starting quarterback, they did not win this by default. They had to win this. This has been an intense battle, similar to the battles you used to have when you played linebacker here. And that room was you and Pollard and Slaughter and Trahan and those type guys, man. And so it's been fun to watch. And I think they're both really good players. I think we're going to have some good quarterback play this year.
Yeah, Coach, real quick, getting to both guys compete for that start nod. Give me the strengths of Billy Wiles.
Yeah, so Billy is a really cerebral guy. And sometimes when you say that about people, it makes you assume that they're not a playmaker. And that's not the case with Billy. He ran for a touchdown yesterday in the scrimmage. Billy can make plays outside of the pocket as well, but he is really cerebral. He has unbelievable accuracy. He's not got the strongest arm in the world, but it's strong enough, and he can move around and make plays. He loves the game of football. He's an intense competitor and a really good leader that treats people the right way.
All right, Coach. And then the strengths of Holmen Edwards.
Yeah, so Holman has a really strong arm. He also can move around and make plays outside of the pocket. He's an older guy, so he's been around and seen a lot. He played at East Central, then he played at Houston, then he played here. So he's been around a lot of different types of football, coached by good quarterback coaches. And he's seen a lot of things. He's also extremely accurate. He's very witty and funny. He's got a dry humor to him. He's a very self-confident kid. They both are. And so they're both. But the thing is, the offense doesn't have to change with either one of them. They're both really accurate, and they're really tough guys, and they're both smart.
All right, let's see when the dust settles what happens, Coach. And obviously at that running back position, you have a premier guy in America, Frank Gore Jr. Smile lights up a room. Talk about the expectations for Frank this year.
We're excited about Frank. We've really done a great job. Greg Meyer, our running backs coach, the special teams coordinator, has of making sure that we keep his blade sharp every day without overworking him because he's an older guy. In the scrimmage yesterday, we let him start off, and, man, he had some phenomenal runs. He can really make you miss. Dwight Wilson, our new corners coach that came from South Alabama, he talks about it all the time, man. He says, man, I just don't see how he makes people miss so good. And I said, man, he's kind of like that old guy at the park. You remember when you're young, Marshawn, you'd go to the park playing 3-on-3 basketball, and there'd be this old man there about 45 years old. He'd get you down in the post, and he'd lock his leg back behind yours, and he'd pivot around you and have you, and he'd lay it in. You'd be like, how did he just score? I don't even know how he did that. And Frank is that way, man. He's very, very, very high football IQ, very savvy. He understands angles and leverage, and he works extremely hard. So, Lord willing, he stays healthy, man. He's going to have a really big year for us.
Yeah, fired up about him, and great analogy with the older guy at the park right there, man, Coach. And Coach, real quick, will we see Superback at all?
Yes, we will see that. The thing that I think Frank's going to be able to show our fans and pro scouts and all this year that people haven't gotten to see a lot is how good he is in the passing game. We were able to show it a little bit over the last 2 years. You remember versus Miami last year, we had him in empty and he ran a slant on third down versus Miami and got a first down. I think you're going to see him catching passes out of the backfield, lined up in empty a lot because we're going to be able to throw the ball around so much better. And he's going to be able to be in pass pro more because we're going to throw it more. But Superback will be an element that we're going to make every team defend this year at some point. And just so they have to work it. He's too good at it. His ability to throw and run, it causes other teams to have to prepare for it. So it will be an element of what we do.
And speaking of throwing the ball, you had a huge weapon in Jason Brownlee last year, lost him. He's making huge strides in the NFL already. How do you replace a Brownlee and talk about that wide receiver room, if you don't mind, Coach?
Yeah, the wide receiver room for us is a room that we've recruited really, really well for 3 years. Desmond Lindsay is an incredible recruiter and a developer of people. And we feel like it's one of the more unsung groups in the whole Sun Belt Conference because we haven't been able to get them the ball. But you look at a guy like Jacarius Caston coming back, who's been dynamic for us over 2 years. Ty Mims, you could argue, was as good a freshman as anybody in the Sun Belt last year. And then Brandon Hayes coming back from injury, you could argue he's been a top 5 player on our team throughout fall camp and a highly recruited young man out of Oak Grove. And then Latrell Frog Jones was the #1 junior college receiver in the country. He had a phenomenal year for us last year. We just didn't get him the ball. He was open a lot. Then Tyquan Henderson comes in as a junior college transfer out of Canton, Mississippi, and Colin Community College. And then you got some young guys like Zay Franks, Davis Dalton, J.J. Butler that are really coming on and showing what they can do as well. They were highly recruited young men that had tons of offers. And so we did lose Brownlee. And Brownlee's a great player, but we feel like we've recruited well there, and those guys are chomping at the bit to show everybody what they can do.
Oh, yeah, and Coach, I got to talk about the big guys up front. You're 3 deep there. It's the 5th biggest offensive line in America. How excited are you about the big guys who move people from point A to point B, man?
Yeah, I think it's the biggest shift in our program over 3 years since we've been here, outside of just the culture overall. How we've changed the academics, the way we treat people and all that is the biggest shift. But outside of that, what we've done with the offensive line room over 3 years, and you have to do it like that. Group of 5 offensive line is developed. It's not, it doesn't happen overnight. We've recruited at a high level for 3 years, and those guys have played. We got a lot of them returning. Then we got 6 guys that have started over 5 games for us at some point in time in their career. They're older, they're experienced, and then those young guys that we signed that have redshirted and grown and been groomed, man, they're coming on now. And you said it, man. We got 17 of them on scholarship. We feel like they can all play. There's not a dud in the group. And so there's intense competition. And it's been so much fun to see that group work, during fall camp.
Yeah, nothing more important than the big guys up front, if you ask me. In the tight end room, too, real quick. You got a fan favorite in Cole Cavallo coming out the woodworks here. I mean, I see him all over Twitter and what have you, man. Talk about Cole in that tight end room.
Yeah, and before I do that, I need to talk about Sam Gregg and Ben Thomas, the coaches with the O-line too. I didn't get that. They just done an unbelievable job getting those pieces and getting those young guys ready. And Sam's been my right-hand man forever and ever. He's just a phenomenal teacher. And Ben, as a young assistant O-line coach, is coming along as well and doing a great job. But man, Cole Cavallo, shoot, man, we could do a whole show on him. He's your kind of guy. He's my kind of guy. He's a Southern Miss guy, and he has been incredible during fall camp. I really think he's going to have a great senior season. He's gotten bigger and stronger and able to win at the point of attack better. But he's just great with the ball in his hands, Marshawn. He very rarely gets tackled by the first guy. He made a diving catch yesterday in the scrimmage. And So, all Southern Miss fans, man, he's a guy to latch on to and embrace. And then behind him, we got some young guys that are really developing. Avery White is finally coming on right there. Evan McNally's a young man that has had a good camp. And then there's a young man named Justin Reed, a true freshman out of Noonan, Georgia, that I think will play as a true freshman as well. And has got a chance to be a dynamic tight end for us.
Awesome recap of the tight end room. And Coach, getting my favorite part of the interview for obvious reasons is nasty bunch defense. A lot of people saying the best front seven in the Sun Belt. What do you expect out of this nasty bunch group this season?
Yeah, we'll hang our hat on what you said. Every D lineman's back, except for Armandus Cooley, who had an injury during fall camp. But they're all back except for Cooley. And then we added Eric Thomas, highly recruited transfer from Arkansas, out of Pensacola, Florida. Then Ely Fubai's coming off a red shirt. D'Amico Rowland's coming off a red shirt. So we add 3 pieces to that puzzle. Cam Mackey is a true freshman. So we've got more depth than we even had last year. They're all back and been with Ancor for a year. Coach Lacey has done a phenomenal job. We added an assistant D-line coach this year, another position. And we promoted Terry Andorra to that position, who brings a lot of juice, young guy who's going to be a bright coach. So I think we'll hang our hat right there with them. We think we got to win the trenches. We think we can be a little more base than what we've been in the past and let those guys clog gaps and make it happen. And then behind them, talking the front seven, it's been so awesome to get Hayes Maples and Swayze Bozeman back. They play that famed linebacker position at Southern Miss that you played. We've had so many good ones throughout our history. And I think they're right in line with that, man. They're highly intelligent guys that love to hit and make plays. TQ Newsom's back right there as well, who's done a lot of good things for us. We added 2 transfers, and Jalen Sims and Kobe Cage, who are really dynamic young guys that are going to break, but they can really run and hit. And then Jacob Johnson's a true freshman that is going to be hey, Marchant, you're going to remember his name. You're going to really like him now. He's from right there on the North Shore at St. Paul's, and he's going to be a really good football player for us.
Oh, yeah, you just named a couple guys with the last guy there and Colby Cage. They're New Orleans area guys, so tell them who that from me, Coach. Now, look, we got some sad news recently with the machine, one of your leaders, Avery Hobbs, being out for the season at that key jack linebacker position. You got some depth there for sure, but losing Avery, man, what impact has that made on the team?
To be honest with you, it's from a team perspective and a growth perspective and a maturity and a teaching. It was such a teachable moment for all of our kids because, number one, we talk about being worthy of our struggles. We talk about building your house on rock, not sand. We talk about what are you going to, not what are you going through. And the way Avery handled that has just been an unbelievable example for how a real man handles life to all of our young guys and everybody looking at him because, man, like he hasn't had a bad day. Maybe he has behind the scenes, but like he shows up every day and he coaches, he helps coach, he helps motivate, he helps inspire. And he's just a real guy, And so, yes, it sucks to lose him. It does. It sucks for him. It sucks for us. But he has used his story to touch others in such a positive way that I think we're going to look up 5-6 years from now and see some really cool things come out of this. And I'm just appreciative. I'm just so thankful that I get to coach him and get to be around him because he's that kind of guy. As far as the jack position goes, we're blessed. Marchant, we lost Avery, but we get Josh Carr back, and Josh Carr is a really good football player that was dynamic for us 2 years ago. He's getting back in the groove. And then we feel like Jaleel Clemens has got a chance to be the best pass rusher in all of Group of 5 football. By the end of the year last year, he was just playing at an unbelievable level. You could make an argument that he's been the best player on our football team through fall camp. We got a young jack in Tremont Henry that is going to be a really dynamic player too. So we're doing good at that position. There's a chance we may slide Jordan Mahaffey over into that spot as well to give us another good pass rusher right there. Jordan's a guy that gives everything he's got from West Marion. But we love Avery. Avery's a true golden eagle. We're praying that these doctors can figure out what's going on with him and he continue his football career. But if that's not what the Lord's got in store for him, he's successful. He's a great husband already. and he's going to be a great father and a leader in the community too.
Oh yeah, Coach, I had Avery on this show not too long ago, got to tell his story, and he's going to be a tremendous ambassador for Southern Miss on and off the field. Coach, real quick, one more position, the secondary. What I love about the secondary, man, we're long, man. It's a game of inches. You know, that ball and maybe somebody an inch away could get the pass. We got that extra inch on the wingspan. Talk about this secondary.
Yeah, you know, that's kind of been the position that I've gotten asked about all summer, because you lose Eric Scott to the Cowboys, you lose Natron Brooks to the Falcons, and you know, you lose Malik Shorts, who made a ton of plays for us throughout his career, was a great Golden Eagle. So we do have some guys that haven't played as much back there, but man, are they talented. It's kind of like the wide receiver room from the standpoint of we recruited well, and they're chomping at the bit to show everybody. You know, starting at corner, you got Brendan Tolles and Michael Caraway back, who played a ton of minutes last year as backups. Then you bring in a highly recruited transfer like MJ Daniels. You bring in another junior college transfer in Quez McNeil, and you talking about intense competition every day for that starting corner spot. I mean, some days it's these two, the next days it's these two. I mean, it's been awesome. And you know, when you got competition like that, man, it's great. At the start, and we've got some true freshmen right there, you know, in a Centario Willis from Hazelhurst and Will Drekus Johnson from Tylertown, who are going to be really good players too. Then you look at the star position, you know, we lost Tyler Knight and Cam Harrell, who were really good players for us for several years. But, man, we moved Jay Jones to that spot, and we moved Markel McLaurin to that spot. Jay was a safety. Markel was a corner. And, man, Marshawn, I'm so excited about both of them. They, you know, Markel was a dynamic player at Collins High School, then Jones Junior College, and he has been playing really well in fall camp. And Jay Jones was a guy that was pushing Malik Shorts to start last year at the boundary safety. I mean, he was pushing Malik. And so we think the future's really bright with him. And then you get to the two back safety spots, and I think we've got the two best in the league. I really do. Jay Stanley, everybody knows, coming back, All-American candidate. But then we bring in Dylan Lawrence from Mississippi State, from George County. And, man, Marshawn, he's another one that you could argue has been the best player on the team through fall camp. He is just really, really dynamic hitter, long. Behind them, you got Elijah Sabatini transferring in from Ole Miss from Biloxi, another Coast boy. Cam Knox, redshirted last year from New Albany, and Hayes Puckett from MRA, and Jeremiah Robinson, J-Rob from Petal. All those guys are smart players that are getting better at tackling, that have a lot of talent as well.
And, Coach, for the last 2 years, you had Austin Armstrong as the DC doing a great job. He went off to Florida to new hands, I think great hands, with new defensive coordinator Dan O'Brien. What are your thoughts on him leading the defense?
I'm really excited about Dan. Dan truly earned this job because I didn't know Dan. I knew of Dan, but I didn't know him till we hired him. And instantly, from the moment I met him, he has a calm demeanor about him, just a calmness about him that's so confident. You know, when you're around Dan, you just feel like, man, he's got it all together. You know, you never around Dan where he appears shook or he appears rattled. He's got answers. He's got solutions. Highly intelligent football junkie that's been in some of the best D-back rooms in the country. I mean, he's been in the secondary room with Bill Belichick, Kirby Smart, and Nick Saban. You know, he's worked his way up. He ran the secondary at Navy through some of the best years of the new era of Navy. You know, and then he came here, was integral in what we've done and helped recruit. And I really think Dan's got a bright future.
Well, heck yeah, Coach. And, you know, the talent is set in place in year 3 for you. But, Coach, you know, you're going to hear me ask this, and a lot of people have this schedule. At Florida State, at Mississippi State, Tulane, a loaded Sun Belt Conference schedule. What are your thoughts on the challenges for this season?
Yeah, it's exactly what you said. There are a lot of challenges, but with great challenges, Marshawn, you know, you get a chance to have a great opportunity to catapult Southern Miss back where we all want to go, right? Back where we were when you guys were playing. And, you know, that's what we want to do. We want to be on that stage. I think we are equipped now to handle a schedule like this. You know, would it be awesome? You know, if we were playing our schedule, we got to play in 2021, I think I'd be sitting here telling you, man, we're finna win a whole bunch of games, you know, and we still got a chance to do that this year. But it is very challenging to play Florida State, who's going to be top 5 in the country, Mississippi State, who's in the SEC, and then Tulane, who was the group of 5 representative in the Cotton Bowl last year. but those are awesome opportunities, man. And our kids are looking forward to it. And the Sun Belt West, we think, is the best Group of 5 division in all of football. So it's going to give us an opportunity to get Southern Miss back on the forefront, across the nation from a Group of 5 standpoint.
A great storyline with that Florida State game. An old teammate of mine, Southern Miss Hall of Famer Patrick Surtain's the DB coach there. It's a great storyline, coach, right there. Hey, getting on recruiting, you are tearing up the recruiting trail. The 2024 class, a lot of people saying the best in the G5. Why do you think this recruiting's going so well for you? The future looks so bright.
Well, a lot of people have asked me that, and I guess the first thing I say back to them is, why not? What's not to like about this place? That's one reason why I wanted this job so bad. I knew that we were in a rut, and I knew it was going to be a tough build, and I knew there was going to be some tough days early on. But man, like, there's so much to sell here, from what we've been to our fan base, to our history, to what we have, to how many good football players are all around us, to the brand we carry. And once we got in here and started putting our culture in place, and our kids started recruiting for us too and selling it, it just kind of started snowballing, and then we got to winning. We won a bowl game last year. So now, recruits are seeing players that they know in our program. They're seeing them play well, and they're so happy, and they're telling them how well they're treated. Well, then you've got the history and the tradition of this place. Then you've got location not far from home. And then now they're seeing, hey, man, they're building it back. I mean, they won a bowl in year 2. So it's just been a lot to sell. We've got a great staff. Joe Marino and Reed Stringer do a phenomenal job running our recruiting department. And we got great coaches that recruit so well. But, man, it's just Southern Miss is a special place, man. Nobody's ever been a part of this place and not loved it,
Oh, yeah, we're passionate on social media too, Coach. I'll tell you that. Hey, real quick, as we're starting to get towards the end of the show, thank you for the preview right there. This big season for us. I told you I'd get into some fan comments from the show. So if you don't mind, Coach, get into some of those.
I'm ready, baby. I'm ready. Me and our fans, we have a great love-hate relationship. So I'm ready.
It's a passionate fan base, Coach Hall, but I'm going to start you with something good real quick. Social media. Congratulations on the success you're having in rebuilding this story program. Thanks to your leadership, your ability to stay focused and lead through difficult and challenging times is inspiring. So there's a good one for you, Coach.
I appreciate that. That.
Next up, will we be a more pass-heavy or run-heavy team this season?
Well, we're going to throw it way more than we've thrown it the last 2 years. And then, Marshawn, the offenses that we've run to get us every job we've ever had, and what got us this job, is what we want to do now. And what we want to be balanced. I said that when I was hired. We want to be balanced. Well, balance is not running the ball the same amount of the times as throwing the ball. It's not 50-50. Balance is the ability to choose and do whatever you need to do in a game. We've not been able to do that, right? Like, we've had to run the ball the last 2 years, even when we needed to be throwing it. The box was loaded, but we just weren't that good enough at it for a lot of different reasons. We want to be now where, hey, if they want to stop the run, we can throw it. And if they want to play back, we can run it. And we want to be able to mix it and mix personnel groupings and do. So to answer your question is, we will throw it way more than we've thrown it the last 2 years. And then we're going to let the defenses dictate, where we go from there. I'd like to be in the lead a lot in the fourth quarter, where we got to run it a lot in the fourth quarter too, and get the clock run out and get us a win.
Awesome, Coach. And real quick break from the X's and O's. Somebody wants to know, when it's time to eat and you're hungry, what's your favorite meal?
My favorite meal, okay. My only other passion outside of football is cooking. I love to grill. Me and my wife, man, we love to get outside and grill and have a big time. So big steak guy. I sear it, Pittsburgh medium rare. My wife does twice baked potatoes, or she's great at fettuccine Alfredo. She's got a hash brown casserole as a side. So that's a big deal for us. And then we love Italian food, man. So if we're in it, we love to eat local. So if we're in a different town or different place, we're going to find the highest rated Italian or local steak place in those places. And that's what we're going to do.
Dang, Coach, got my mouth watering talking all that. I need to go eat something. Hey, and one last question. It has been a hot summer. There's no doubt about it. What are some extra preparation you guys have been doing at practice and getting ready for the season for their, especially that September heat, Coach?
Well, we're out in it. We man, it's the Southern Miss grit and grind, baby. We don't have an indoor, and we kind of like that, to be honest with you. Now I'll take one, but I mean, we're out in it every day. There's nowhere to hide here. So we feel like we're ready for it. That's how we work all the time, man. You know how Lance and Carr works them, and so we're rolling out in it. To me, the only way to get used to it is to be out in it. We're out in it every day, and have been, and always will be. So I feel like our guys are prepared and ready for it.
Yeah, that heat builds grit and character, which we're known for, Coach. As we close things up for the 2023 football season in the future, what's a final message you have for the Southern Miss Nation?
Yeah, I just want to say to everybody, man, I appreciate you sticking with us through this build. I know it's been hard. It's been really hard on me. But as we come out of it and go into year 3, and we've got this roster in much better shape, I think that I think it's been very rewarding. A lot of people ask me, Coach, when are we going to get back to winning championships? It's coming. I hope it comes in 23. I don't know if it will, but we are going to get back to winning championships, and and just keep hanging in there with us. A big word for us this year is roll. We talk about roll, R-O-L-E. Roles are constantly changing. Roles are constantly being defined. We're constantly making decisions that affect our role. And that's not just our football team. That's also our fan base. And my thing to our fan base right now is your role is to help us pack the rock again. We've got a lot of great pictures of the rock being packed. And, man, they're beautiful. But there's a big problem with them. They're all really old. We've got to get some new pictures of the rock being packed again. And we've got a great football program. We're building it the right way, the Southern Miss way. Come back and support these kids, and let's get some new pictures this year, and let's keep building this program back to being the best in the group of 5. And I'm so proud to be your coach, and I'm so proud of what we're all doing together.
Great message right there, Coach. And me and my wife, Angela, we couldn't be prouder of the job you're doing. So great culture rebuilding right there, Coach. Thanks so much for being on the show today.
I appreciate you, buddy.
Again, I think a great way to close things is for me and our fearless leader, Will Hall, giving everybody a big Southern Miss
to the top.